Well, hello there. Welcome back to the channel. My name is James, and here at 20th and 21st Movies, we are about all things cinema. Well, I got another Criterion Collection review for you. Of course, I did a review of Blowout 4K recently on the channel in a live review. And when I got Blowout on 4K delivered from Criterion, I also got another title from them as well. So I got Blowout 4K, and I also got Faya Dayi. This is the 2021 film. Feature film debut from Mexican-Ethiopian director Jessica Beshir. So it's from 2021. It comes in at spine number 1141 in the Criterion Collection. So check out Faya Dayi. Very interesting cover. That's the front. And of course, this is the back of Faya Dayi. And this film was shot in black and white in a very artistic style, has a very unique look to it in the way that this film was put together and shot and edited. And it just tells a very fascinating story and tale in a very unconventional sense. So let me read the back of this Criterion Collection edition cover here. It says, Faya Dayi, a sublime work of personal vision. The debut feature by the Mexican-Ethiopian filmmaker Jessica Beshir is a hypnotic documentary immersion in the world of Ethiopia's Oromo and Harari communities, places where one commodity, khat, K-H-A-T, a euphoria-inducing plant once prized for its supposedly mystical properties, holds sway over the rituals and rhythms of everyday life. As if under the influence of the drug itself, Faya Dayi unfurls as intoxicating trance state cinema, capturing intimate moments in the existence of everyone, from the harvesters of the crop to people lost in its narcotic haze, to a desperate but determined younger generation searching for an escape from the region's political strife. The director's exquisite monochrome cinematography, each frame a masterpiece sculpted from light and shadow, and the film's time-bending elliptical editing create a ravishing sensory experience that hovers between consciousness and dreaming. So that's a great way to describe this film. This is a film that's not presented in a typical narrative structure. So it's not your typical three-part structure with the protagonist and an antagonist and telling your conventional plot type of a narrative. So this is a very different film. It's really presenting to you landscapes, peoplescapes, close-ups of people. And it just presents to you these beautiful images that really evoke emotion and conveys a very unique artistic style in the way that it was shot with this beautiful black and white photography. But it's really presented to you as a mosaic of images as people move about their everyday lives, whether it's the Oromo farmers who are cultivating and harvesting this plant called khat, which is the primary agricultural output of the country of Ethiopia, and its unique properties of this plant and the effect that this plant has had on the people living there, whether it's the older people, the younger people. It also talks about religious themes in this Islamic dominated community. It is a movie that is presented as a dream or a hallucination that is not really worried about the passage of time, but really more about capturing certain unique moments and just presenting it to you in sort of a hypnotic way, and not worried about, moving through a standard plot like most movies. So it's a beautiful film. It is absolutely hypnotic to watch. And you're wondering, okay, where is this going? What is the message here that's being conveyed? And the general message that I got from watching this film, Faya Dayi, is that it's really just evoking emotions and feelings as you're seeing images of these people. It is very hypnotic and fascinating, seeing the farmers, seeing the children, seeing, people of all ages portrayed in a very artistic style that's not worried about, a particular pace of moving, but just capturing moments of time of these people in a very artistic way. It's because of that I would say that this is a film that, if you were to ask me, do I recommend this release from the Criterion Collection? I would say that it's going to depend on the individual. I would say for most people, this is a title that probably is not going to be for most people. given that it's not a traditional narrative plot-driven story that people are accustomed to. But if you are into art house type cinema and you might be interested in a film like this that sort of presents things in more of a hypnotic, trance-inducing type way, that's not worried about a typical three-part narrative structure and worried about focusing on particular characters, because the individual is not really focused on in this film. It's really looking at the collective of the people that's presented. So you don't really have a set protagonist, you don't have a antagonist, you don't really have a quote-unquote traditional cast, if you would, in this film. So it's because of that I would say that I would approach this release with caution. It is a beautiful release. There's a lot in the special features that I'll talk to you about that I think is something that people who are into art house cinema are going to be into. But if you're into your traditional narrative plot-driven story, this is probably not going to be a release for you. So this is definitely in the category of Criterion Collection release that is in that art. Sorry, just got a text here from someone. This is very much in the art house category for Criterion Collection releases. So I'll just say that. But it is a very fascinating film that I definitely want to revisit, because it's a type of film that you can see over and over again and pick up something different based upon the imagery that's presented. And like I said, this film is absolutely beautiful in the way it was shot with this black and white photography, very artistic. And Jessica Beshir not only directed this film, but she wrote the film, she produced it, and she also served as a cinematographer. She shot this film. She shot this film over a 10-year period as a passion project. So she would go back and forth to Ethiopia. I believe she lived in Mexico for a great period of time, and so she would travel back to Ethiopia. And every time she would travel back, she would capture footage of the area, capture the people, capture the landscapes, and use that footage to bring together this hypnotic story. And it's just absolutely fascinating. The film has a very distinctive look and feel to it. It's very atmospheric and moody, the way that it's shot. And like I said, there's no real main characters here. It's more of a mosaic of characters as an ensemble versus focusing on a particular protagonist or antagonist. And it's a film that is more of an artistic piece than your, conventional, plot narrative. So let's talk for a second about the video and audio of this release. Like I said, this is an absolutely beautiful film. It's a high definition digital master approved by the director with 5.1 surround DTS HD master audio soundtrack. So it's been mastered in high definition. So all that footage over a 10-year period that's been put together all in a digital workflow, and it looks absolutely beautiful on Blu-ray. Some of the shots in this film are just breathtaking in their appearance. And then there's some other shots that are a little bit more muddled in their appearance. And I wonder if those shots are done for artistic purposes, if that's the reason why it looks that way, or if what we're seeing is a bit of black crush in some of those images. But whatever the case is, even those scenes have a very interesting look to them, in addition to the more tack sharp black and white scenes that are just so gorgeous, whether it's close-ups of people, the landscapes, the interiors of some of the locations. Everything is presented just absolutely beautiful in Faya Dayi. And then the audio is a 5.1 surround DTS HD master audio soundtrack. Sounds absolutely fantastic. So you see that on the back of the case here, description there. So very nice. And if you look on the inside of the case, you'll see, of course, this nice book and the disc. And the art on the inside is similar art to what is on the actual, hope you're able to see this, but this is one of the men in the film that's presented, I believe one of the religious figures. So hopefully you're able to see that. And then you see the disc art here, Faya Dayi from the Criterion Collection. Very nice. And then also, this is the little insert that's included, Faya Dayi. And Faya Dayi is a song that is sung by these farmers in the fields, and it means give birth to life. So very fascinating. Here's the back of that, a woman walking through one of the exterior locations of the city. And there's a wonderful essay in here called Escape and Return by Yasmina Price that talks a lot about, of course, Khat, that talks about Jessica Beshir and her process of making this film, and really just a lot about Ethiopia and the environment, you know, and the influence of Khat to the people in that area, and the situation with the older people and the younger people. Just tells you a lot about the culture of that area, and just opens your mind to, you know, a different area of the world that I find to be very fascinating. And then, of course, as far as special features, there are a few really interesting features on here, including there's an interview with Jessica Beshir from Laden Osman, who's a poet, and this poet is interviewing Jessica Beshir on different scenes in the film, and Jessica's able to provide some nice commentary on how she put together some of these scenes and how she shot this film, and her general approach to this project over a 10-year period. So I thought that was very fascinating. Then you also have 3 short films on here from Beshir. He Who Dances on Wood, which is about 5 minutes. You have Heroine, which is from 2017, which is about a 17-minute short film, which features a man who is an artist, and his main subject is his ex-wife. And he puts together all these abstract, interesting, you know, photographs and paintings of his ex-wife, and talks a lot about their relationship as it was when they were married, but now, of course, that marriage is no more, and he says that the woman that he was married to is no more, and is now an artistic object that he is putting out there on a canvas, and just found that to be very fascinating. And then also Harat, which is from 2017, which basically serves as an introduction by Beshir to this film Faya Dayi. It's basically about people who are hurting and dealing with hyenas. So very interesting, in Ethiopia. So very interesting. And then, of course, you have a trailer and the essay from Yasmina Price that is included on this insert here. So this is a very fascinating addition from the Criterion Collection. Like I said, I can't say that this is a title for everybody. You know, if you're not into, you know, art house cinema, if you're not into a title like this, if you're more of a traditional plot driven, you know, narrative structure, this is probably not going to be a release for you. But if you're interested in exploring something different, something new, something that, you know, shows you something that you haven't seen before and gives you insight into an area of the world that you may not be familiar with, this is something you might want to check out if you're into that type of thing. So I can definitely recommend Faya Dayi to those who fall in that category. So that's where I'll leave it. Faya Dayi comes recommended to those who would be interested in an art house film like this. But let me know in the comment section what you think of this film if you've seen it. Let me know what you think of other films, these short films from Jessica Beshir, if you've seen those. And let me know what other Criterion editions you have gotten into recently, in addition to this, Blowout on 4K, and any other recent Criterion Collection releases. Let me know all that goodness in the comment section below. And as always, thanks for watching, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time at the movies. Peace.